Hey everyone, Sergio with the Rideshare Guy. Welcome to another episode of Behind the Wheel. Today I'm joined by Sean. He's from Northern California. I'll let him introduce himself. Welcome, Sean.
Hi, my name's Sean. Been driving for Uber and Lyft since 2017, but I actually started in gig work in 2016 as a DoorDasher. So because I had a salvage vehicle, I didn't do rideshare until that car was hit and then totaled. So then I bought a car that was actually usable for Uber and Lyft, and I started doing that mostly at first on the side. But then when I figured out that I could make a lot more money doing that than the W-2, then I quickly stopped doing that and just did gig work, and then so more full time or on a regular basis since 2018.
2018. Okay. What kind of car do you drive now?
I have multiple vehicles. I've always had at least two vehicles,
Okay.
so that way if there's a car in the shop or I get hit, because I've been hit multiple times,
Okay.
and so I have a Prius and like a SUV that sits seat seven.
Okay. So you can do Excel and Comfort and things like that.
Yeah.
Um, so the market that you're driving in, I said Northern California, but give us a little bit of a flavor of or a color of where you mostly drive.
So there's a town up here called Woodland, California,
Mm-hmm.
from the Sacramento airport.
Okay.
So I basically have Davis and Sacramento Airport as my starting and ending points. So if I'm at the airport and I get a ride going to the Bay Area, I take it and go to the work in the Bay. Same thing. Davis always has rides, especially in the weekend, going towards the Bay. People that neither miss their Amtrak or people that just have the money to spend to just go down to the Bay for the weekend.
Okay.
So then I just use that and drive in the Bay and then head back Sunday night usually.
Okay.
So I only drive Friday through Sunday.
Okay. Oh, only on the weekends. Do you have a W-2 or
No, I have since I quit my W-2 in 2018. I haven't had one since.
okay. You said you quit in 2018, your W-2,
Mhm.
and Uber and Lyft driving. Are you on both platforms, by the way?
I'm pretty much most of the platforms, mostly Uber, Lyft, DoorDash. I
Okay.
have Roadie. I have Y-Ride too, but I've never taken a ride on it.
Yeah. Yeah, there are some changes happening with that company that we'll announce shortly. But so you have committed yourself to gig work, independent contractor work, right?
Yeah,
Do you think we're actually independent contractors?
on Uber and Lyft, yes. On DoorDash, no.
Okay. Why do you say
I'm
so?
an employee. There's so many things I got to do just to be able to do it,
Okay. Like scheduling and things like that?
or just I have to keep a 80% acceptance rate. I can only cancel 3 out of 100 deliveries.
Okay.
I have to drive basically in certain areas or they won't give me. I get shadow banned, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So like in certain areas, especially the ones that have the mopeds,
Okay.
I can't get it. I mean, unless it's a delivery that's like a, you know, 20-30 mile delivery, they're going to give the short ones to all the people that have the mopeds first.
Yeah.
Like in San Francisco and Davis, they're like everywhere now.
Yeah. Would you say bulk of your income is from Uber?
Um, yeah, 60%.
60%? Okay.
Yeah, I would say 60, 25 Lyft and 15, 10 to 15 on food delivery.
Third delivery. Okay.
Yeah.
So bulk of your income is from rideshare, basically, right?
Yeah. I have
Uh,
like 14,000, 15,000 on Uber trips. I just broke 10,000 this weekend on Lyft.
Okay.
And I think on deliveries on DoorDash, I'm at like 4,000, I think.
Okay.
And then other
Uh,
ones are like just very little.
so you said you switched to full-time gig work in about 2017 because it was a lot better than your W-2. I mean,
Yeah.
do you feel like that's still the case?
I still make the same
Okay.
doing gig work, but
Okay.
the problem is the minimum wage has gone up so much where it's going to be pretty much the same. Why do all the wear and tear in your vehicle and the long hours when I can get overtime or get a steady income at a W-2? So,
Yeah.
if minimum wage is $20 at McDonald's and I'm making 25 to 30 on gig work,
Yeah.
their expenses, it's the same.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're going to go back to a W-2 job or still manageable?
I put myself in a situation where I don't need to.
Okay.
So I like the gig work because my girlfriend's schedule is the same. She
Okay.
works Friday through Monday in the like afternoon evenings.
Okay.
So it'd be hard to get a job that would just let me do that.
Okay. Yeah.
But
No.
eventually I'm gonna have to figure out something what they call plan B, you know.
Yeah. Definitely. So give me a little bit of how your day goes. Like, how do you start? Do you do split shifts? Do you wake up early? Like you said, you do airport trips and things like that? Hey, obviously, you're a veteran. Obviously, you have figured out your city's flow, right? The rhythm of
Yeah.
the city. And so tell us a little bit about your usual workday on the apps.
Do you want me to do it in there's three basically the way I look at it is I have three different time periods where I did three different things.
Okay.
So we'll do before COVID.
Okay.
Before COVID, like I was telling you about with Jay, he would
Mm-hmm.
drive in the mornings. He liked to be up at like 4 in the morning for some reason and
Yeah.
drive in traffic all day and sit there. We're in San Francisco, where I would go down to the bay. Sometimes I'd go 4 days a week, and I would drive basically 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. No traffic. The stress is a lot less.
Yeah.
And I would just chase those bonuses.
Yeah.
I mean, I would get bonuses. They'd be like $5 per ride, achieve like 80 rides, 90 rides in a weekend. And so I would just go down there and in either San Francisco or UC Berkeley area
Yeah.
where all the, because back then we didn't know where the trips were going. And I would just take every one that I could that was short to get that bonus. That was my number one goal.
Yeah.
And then San Francisco and Berkeley, I mean, it would surge like 30 to 50% of the time.
Yeah.
So I'm getting $10 to $12 per ride and then extra $5 after the bonus. It was a no brainer just to stay in that one area. And then COVID hit, and in California, we got to basically set our own surge.
Yeah.
And Sacramento was one of the trial areas before you guys had it in LA. I think one airport in LA might have had it, but in Sacramento, our airport had it, and then we got it all over. So be able to do that. One thing that was lucky is we didn't have the like major shutdown requirements like San Francisco and LA.
Yeah.
So people were out doing stuff. There would be people I'd pick up that would come from the Bay to like El Dorado County and Placer County, which is in the foothills, and like a vacation because you could actually do things there.
Yeah.
You know, the casinos were open, the tourism in Tahoe was insane, and you could set your own rates. So it was the best money in the world. I mean, I did take a break during COVID from like March till July
Yeah.
because I mean, everybody thought that it was something you would get sick and you would pass away from.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was making $1,000 days.
Wow.
I did because they were giving out bonuses too.
Yeah.
There was one week I made 4,000 in a week.
Wow.
4,000 one week driving a Prius. I didn't even drive my SUV.
Yeah.
I just drove my Prius because it was the Lyft was trying to compete and they didn't set that where we could set our own rates.
Yeah.
But they were just giving me bad bonuses. I sent you emails. Did you see the emails
Yeah.
about the one Uber bonus I got where
Yeah.
I
The
took nothing but
guarantee.
shorties?
Yeah. Yeah. You're not gonna see that again.
Yeah, I'll never. I mean, that's more than I got when Uber stock was when they gave out that money. I only got 500.
Yeah.
Well, that was like four times that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But so that's the good, the bad, the ugly. So what period are we in now, you think?
Now it's basically the way I look at it is I'm just doing everything I can to get that Prop 22 money, I guess, on
Oh, okay.
on food delivery.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't ever I don't ever get on Uber, but
I hope not.
I know. So I'll just like take a delivery and take my time, drive slow.
Yep.
I mean,
Get some
I don't.
exercise.
It's like my girlfriend said. She's like, I don't want you delivering my food
Yeah.
because you don't get it here quick. I'm like, no, I'm not late. You're just not going to get it early.
Yeah.
You
Why
know?
would we? Why
Yeah.
would we, right? I mean, I do the same thing, right? It's good exercise. You park about, quarter mile away as opposed to in front of the restaurant. Just kind of take your time, Hey, I mean, we'll have a clock. You're never late. I'm sure it's all good, right?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes
Um,
I go to the restroom or
yeah,
like if you take your time, if you're multi-apping, you can get two.
yeah,
You can get one on one and one on the other. I was in Davis, and I never thought I could do this, but it worked out. I took a food delivery at a Chipotle,
yeah,
and then I had the other app on, and it gave me one at Nick the Greek, which is right across the street.
yeah, yeah,
So I took both of those.
yeah,
But here's the thing: I still had my rideshare app on.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say what company, but I had Rideshare.
Yeah.
There was a they both my deliveries were going to the West Village, which is a humongous student apartment complex.
Yeah.
I picked up a person at the downtown area on one of the ride shares that was going to the same apartment complex.
There you
So
go.
he's in my car. I have two food deliveries in the back. All three of them are paying me with Prop 22 or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I deliver, I drop her off, then I deliver my food. I mean, that's the way you got
Yeah.
to do it
No,
now.
sometimes, all the stars line up, right?
Yep.
I mean, as you can do that as long as you're going
Yeah, it's the same. I wouldn't have took it if it wasn't the same apartment complex. But I mean, this
yeah.
is a humongous. There's probably like 2 or 3 thousand units in this apartment complex.
Yeah. I mean, I do it quite often too, when I'm multi-apping. As long as they're not opposite side of the town, right? I mean, then you don't want to do it. But no, I get you. So you're a veteran. You've done all that needs to be done. So I ask this to every driver that I talk to, and I'm gonna ask you too. So give me two things you like about gig work because you have all the apps. So I'm not just gonna say Uber driving. Yeah, gig work, and give me two things you dislike about gig work.
Right now, the flexibility,
Yeah,
and the other one is you're basically getting. But I drive a Prius that's 13, no, 12 years old.
yeah,
That has over 200 some thousand miles on it.
yeah.
So my cost per mile is like 10 cents, 15 cents.
If that, yeah,
So the tax write off is the main thing. If I
yeah,
didn't have that tax write off, or we became employees where I couldn't do the all the tax write offs,
yeah,
I'd be done. I would quit the next day.
yeah,
So the tax write offs and the flexibility.
yeah.
You know,
Okay,
my SUV, except for going up to do the celebrity golf tournament
yeah,
and maybe do 4th of July, I don't even go up to Tahoe anymore because my SUV gets like 18 to 20 miles per gallon,
yeah,
and it's not, and the wear and tear on that, my depreciation is way worse. So
yeah. But
before
just
I would use my SUV for all the events.
all right. Two things you dislike about gig work.
That I have to think now that with upfront pricing, I have to think. I don't like. I wanted. Oh, there's a trip going to San Francisco. Take it. I knew how much does I make.
Yeah,
Now sometimes those trips to San Francisco pay like 50, $60 when they used to be 100.
yeah,
I mean, if I'm driving 80 to 100 miles, before I can figure out, okay, I'm going to get between 80 to 100. I get my bridge toll. Now it's like $50 sometimes, and it's like I'm not taking that trip even though I want to because what's the point?
yeah. Well, I
So
mean, they definitely have raised the passenger fares and they have cut the driver fares for sure, you know.
I
Um,
get I get 30% now on most of my rides.
30% of the total fare?
30% of what they pay, maybe 35. That's it. On Uber, Lyft is more like 50, but
Okay.
Uber, I mean,
Oh,
the trips in San Francisco now. I used to know my mileage. So before I used to get $1 a mile,
yeah,
20 cents a minute.
yeah,
Then it went to 68 per minute, 30. I'm sorry, 68 per mile, 30 a minute.
yeah,
Now it's less. It's like maybe like 75. Oh, total. You combine those, maybe 75 to 80 cents a mile now.
well, that's
It's
what
not
they
even a
did.
dollar a
They
mile anymore.
they got rid of the rate card, so nobody
Yeah.
knows what the heck is
Yeah.
who's
So I'll
gonna
be at
get
the
paid more.
airport. I'll be at the airport and I'll see one trip that's paying like 20% less than the same trip than pay. It's like they're even the trips that are the same, they're not the same.
No, absolutely, yeah. Well, that's how they became profitable, though.
Yeah.
And whoever figured that out at Uber and Lyft, all power to them, I guess. So we started talking about this topic last week actually, and I do these interviews quite often, and at least once a week, and but we post them once a week, but I do more. But um, we started talking about it, and it got like massive traction. So I'm going to ask you that question, and so I had asked ChatGPT or a large language model in Gemini actually. I said, give me the human toll rideshare takes, not just financially, because I believe we're exchanging our time for money, basically. That's what we're doing. And, but there's a physical toll, there is an emotional toll, there is a, mental toll that it takes, right? So let's talk a little bit about that. Let's talk a little
Well,
bit about what you do if you want to keep in shape, or, what is your routine to battle all these things, the mental strain and the stress, the anxiety, the financial part, the physical part. What do you do?
like it's interesting you say that because the last 2 weeks I've been dealing with an issue with my right hip,
Okay.
and I never had that before.
That's sitting.
Yeah. And then I noticed I looked at my leg actually yesterday, and my right side has now varicose veins right there.
Oh yeah.
That's not on my left. Now, most people say if your left is messed up, that's worse because that's the side your heart's on.
Yeah.
So I'd rather it be on my right if I had a choice. But I'm looking at it and I'm like, it's starting to take a toll now. I've hit 50 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, because even before I did rideshare, my job, my W-2 was a food delivery job.
Okay.
So, I mean, that probably had to take a toll on that too. So I've
Yeah.
been doing this over 10 years, being in
Yeah.
my car driving all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gained some weight. I'm probably like 30, 40 pounds heavier than I was when I started rideshare.
Yeah.
But I had a guy in my car. It was a few years ago, and I should have listened to him. He was a Uber driver that's been driving longer than me,
Mm-hmm.
and he was telling me how bad his legs are. He was just telling me that he wakes up in pain all the time. And it was because he was a San Francisco driver
Yeah.
driving like crazy. And I guess one thing I'm lucky about is I work less days than I don't work.
Yeah.
So that helps me. But yeah, I mean, it's getting to the point now where it's like maybe I should look at not driving so much because I don't want to end up with, arthritis or knee issues because that's what the big thing is. Or
I mean,
sometimes
you're gonna you look
I
with
notice I get
older.
those swollen feet really bad.
Yeah, with old age, we're all gonna get that anyway. But what this does is that it just kind of accelerates the process, right? I mean, it's not a healthy thing. I haven't seen, including myself, I haven't seen a rideshare driver that is like in tip-top shape. You know what I mean? Because we're all sitting, and what do we eat? We eat junk food mostly,
Yeah.
stop and go on the road, right?
Mhm.
And we're just sitting. And but let's talk a little bit about obviously, the financial part. Hopefully, you are one of those drivers that listens to us and figures out the cost per mile. But you just said it. You drive a Prius that's
Yeah.
98% depreciated already, so you just keep driving it into the ground until you can't drive it anymore. So
And
your
that's my
cost is
second
pretty
one
low.
too. So I did that to my first Prius too. I got like almost 300,000
Yeah,
on my first Prius.
yeah. And but you
I,
figured that part out. But what about the mental toll? What about the
um,
safety issues? What about all these other things? Because I think what we're getting paid, right, these days anyway, is not commensurate to all these other factors that we're dealing with, right? Physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, whatever. What do you think about that?
I mean, the one thing mentally I appreciate that I don't have to think I have to do this all the time to
Yeah.
pay my bills, to do that. I've never been in a financial situation where I needed it.
Okay.
I just liked getting it.
Okay.
So it was more like the hustle, like the addiction part you guys talk about,
Yeah.
where it's like I get a good ride. Like yesterday, I saw a ride pop up and it was like 2 in the morning. And I'm like, I don't really want to drive, but that's good money. It was like really good. And it's like I passed it up. And
Yeah.
I hope the driver that got it needs it more than me.
Yeah.
But when I was driving before COVID, I would have took that because I felt like I needed it.
Yeah.
But like during COVID, I made financial decisions that were good. So I
Okay.
mean, I just had a CD that was at 5% run out. So I made pretty good money on that.
Okay.
So I mean, that's the thing is financially, I'm not one of those people that I could quit for a year and not even go get a W-2.
Okay.
As long as I, manage my money, I'm okay.
Yeah. You
But
saved money. You
some people have to do this because they have such high rent or they have all these bills because they have 5 kids. I don't have kids to take care of, so that's a good
yeah.
thing.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. But luckily you did make the right decisions because a lot of people wouldn't have done that either. Because that's another thing that I'm trying to help drivers with their retirement, with their future, right? I mean, you can't do this forever. Like you said, you're
Yeah.
getting varicose veins. Your hip is hurting now. You know, how much longer can people do this? And you need to save for your retirement. You need to save some money every week. You need to have a rainy day fund. But most drivers, unfortunately, with inflation, the way things are, right, they don't do it. And then they work hard 10 years and then they have nothing to show for it at the end, which is sad. I mean, that's why I want to keep talking about
I
this
mean,
subject.
I have a brother that makes way more money than me.
Yeah.
His wife probably makes more money than me, and they love credit. They love buying stuff, and where all the vehicles I bought with cash.
Yeah.
I if I don't have the money for it, why buy a car for rideshare you're going to tear up?
Absolutely.
Like I buy it knowing I'm going to tear it up. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's like if I buy a car for 10,000 and I can resell it for 5,000, but make 200,000,
Yep.
That makes more sense than getting some. I see these people at the San Francisco lot with brand new cars,
Yeah.
brand new car, and I'm thinking, I don't even think they probably paid it off.
Well,
So,
by the time that car is trash, probably they paid off half of it, probably. You know?
so when you're talking about mental, that's where DoorDash, I feel like I'm an employee
Okay.
because they constantly make me feel like I have to take a delivery
Yeah.
or I'll lose this status.
Yeah.
Or, if I'm not out there, they'll send me notices every hour.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, I can turn the notifications off, but sometimes I need the notifications.
Yeah.
You need it for getting an order and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just Uber doesn't really care that much. If you cancel an order, they're not going to give you this passive aggressive message.
Ah, they do that too, though. That's
Well,
a good thing.
Lyft does it more than Uber, but
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
DoorDash is insane on how much they will make it so hard for you to cancel an order or
Yeah.
decline an order.
Well, when you're the largest, elephant in the room, you can do whatever you need to do, I guess. But we have a few minutes remaining. I enjoy talking to drivers, obviously, and experienced drivers like yourselves who has figured the gig out and they know it's not forever. So, how much longer do you think you'll be doing this?
I mean, I thought I'd be quitting last year.
Okay.
So, I mean, as long as I know how to make money,
Okay.
as long as it makes me more money than, like I said, working at McDonald's.
Yeah. Well, I
Um,
mean,
what?
look, a lot of people complain about this gig, right? In general.
Mhm.
But I think a lot of people enjoy doing what they're doing. I really do. I think the vast majority actually enjoys doing what they're doing because to these companies' credit, they have created this ridiculous marketplace that literally, like you said, 2 in the morning yesterday, you get a great trip, right? In what world, in what W-2 can you just do that? And then do that single trip, make 50, $100, whatever it was, and then that's it, you're done. I mean, in what world, right? So there are still positives, I believe. Do you believe there are still positives?
Yeah, I don't really have complaints about the companies when
Okay.
it comes to how they operate. I just wish that they treated us more like independent contractors. Don't make me feel guilty or nothing is like when the trip radars.
Yeah.
Those are low balls. Those are low. That's all it is. It's like if I'm remember I was telling you in Woodland, which is a
Yeah.
town about 50, 60,000 people.
Yeah.
I don't get trip radars.
Yeah.
I actually get trips because I'm the only driver in the area.
Yeah.
And they'll pay me in that little town, they'll pay me more than $1 an hour. They'll pay better than LA rates.
Of
I
course.
shouldn't, I mean, hopefully there's not a lot of people there now we're going to run there,
Yeah.
but
No.
they will give me a reason to take that ride.
Yeah.
Where if I'm in the town 10 miles south, which is Davis, California,
Yeah.
there's tons of Uber drivers there. So I get these $3 trip radars all day. And it's like, I'm not taking those $3 ones.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
college kids, I mean, I know they don't have the money to tip so much, but
yeah.
I have to assume they're not going to tip. I can't hope to take a $3 ride and get a $5 tip in Davis.
Not
Just
go-
like down with
that's
you guys take those USC rides.
yeah.
How many
Well, no,
rides do you get
those
tipped
we
on
do.
down there?
Those we do because there is a reason for them what we do down here. But the point is, if you do a $3 trip, that's going to last, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes from pickup to drop off. How much money? I mean, granted we have Prop 22, but still the wear and tear you're putting on your car. And the way I look at those $3 trips, Scott, Sean, is that it's an opportunity cost because while I'm doing that 10-minute drive, I
Mm.
probably will miss a banger. You know what I mean? That's what people don't think about. I'm like, because those during that $3 trip that you're doing, that you think you're just doing something with it, you're gonna miss on a good one, most likely. You know?
Oh, that's one thing when I do DoorDash, I leave the apps on
Yeah.
because I might be going to pick up a delivery, and then all of a sudden a good ride comes on rideshare, and it's like I'll cancel that one. But now DoorDash is going to make me feel guilty because I'm not going to pick up that one order out of 100 or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
One thing I want to talk about Waymo real quick.
Sure.
Okay, I can't do rideshare in San Francisco and make money anymore.
Really?
Now,
Is it that
we
bad?
yeah, did you see the trips I sent you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and me in a small town, it didn't take that long to pick somebody up and take them a mile. San Francisco, every block's got a light.
Yeah.
There's traffic. Offer me $4 or $5 to go 2 miles to San Francisco. That's even on the Lyft posting, it's less than 20 an hour.
Yeah.
Minimum wage in San Francisco is 20. So Prop
Yeah.
22 money is like 23.
Yeah.
So, and with no bonuses and no surge, I mean, there's no surge anymore.
Yeah. I know.
And Waymos are there.
Yeah.
The customers prefer, I mean, I would say 50% of the people I pick up prefer Waymo.
Yeah.
they're too expensive.
Yeah. Well, at the moment they
Yeah.
are, but the Waymo announced that they have actually surpassed Lyft in their geofenced area doing trips in San Francisco,
Yeah.
actually.
I mean, the Waymos are now in Palo Alto, Mountain
Yep.
View. They're all
Yep.
the way. They're at the airport. They're not picking people up at the airport.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
there.
Yep.
They're so if you walk to the BART station or you from the airport, you take BART a mile, you can pick a Waymo.
Absolutely. Yeah. I
So
mean, look, they're coming, like it or not, they're coming. That's why I highly recommend to all our viewers, and our channel probably will go away one day pretty soon because yeah, these things are coming, like it or not. That's what it
and then
is.
there's the
And
Amazon one there too.
yeah,
They're picking up people too.
yeah, Zoox is there, Waymo's there, and many other ones are probably going to show up. But yeah, I mean, look, still humans are still going to be needed, but um, to what degree? What trips are they going to be doing versus what Waymos are going to be doing? Because sometimes the most profitable trips, as you know, are those shorties, right? That you can stack up if you have a bonus and things like that. But yeah, that's the nature of the game. So we have a couple of minutes remaining, and I'm going to give you the floor. Give us some advice. You're a veteran. It doesn't have to be rideshare advice. It could be health advice, mental, whatever it is, whatever advice you want to give our audience for a couple of minutes.
Just realize when you're doing this, do it for your benefit. Don't do it for the passenger's benefit. Don't do it for the company's benefit. I when I go to other cities, some of the people there, they really think they're an employee.
Yeah.
They really think that if they don't accept a ride or if they don't do a certain thing a certain way, that they're going to be punished. And it's like my ratings went way up and my earnings went up when I didn't care. The minute that I stopped caring and I just said, okay, I'm not going to think about if this person's going to get a 5 star. I'm not going to think about this person giving me a tip. I'm just going to just do what I know I can do, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
And now I'm like 4.98 on Uber. I'm a 5 on Lyft. DoorDash, I'm like a 4.95 or something. But my ratings were really low when I cared, when I
Yeah.
was stressing about it.
Yeah. I
But
mean, I think that's great advice. I think we're in it for ourselves, right? Although we do face the customer and we're in this kind of a service industry, it's our car. You have to look out for yourself first because the companies are not looking out for you. They're looking out for themselves to be profitable. So why shouldn't you look out for yourself? So, no, I agree with that. Well, that's good advice, man. Yeah. And so here's Sean from, I'm going to call you Northern California because
yeah, just say
you're,
Northern California.
yeah, you're in many different cities. You're doing your thing. You're enjoying doing it and you're successful at it. And I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching this episode of Behind the Wheel on the Rideshare Guy. We've been doing these interviews for the past 6 months with very successful drivers from different cities around the nation. Click here for another episode. Make sure you subscribe and turn on all notifications for other episodes of Behind the Wheel as well as amazing content on our channel.